the way, everybody, I just wanted to let you know that I pretty much use everything that I've purchased or that is sent to me for PR. I use all of my City Beauty products, all of them. I used every single one of my foundations except for if I try them on and I use them a couple times, they go in my drawer over here and I just kind of forget about them. And I save my favorites out here on my little vanity so that I can use them, pick and choose, whatever. Speaking of that, I wanted to go back to the Kaylee scents that I got. I ordered them last year. So far, I have gone through 2 complete vials of the scents. And as you can see, all of them are getting down. I'm definitely working on this one. I wore this one today, and it won't be long, and these will be gone. And that's because I want to use them up. So I've been using these scents. So yesterday, I didn't want to wear a lot of makeup. And I dug out my Tier foundation. I've used this a couple times. It's not one of my go-to foundations. But I wanted to put it on with a brush instead of using the applicator inside. That way I could control how much of it was on my face, and a little really spreads a long way. So if you do like a full coverage foundation, I would recommend this foundation. It looked really nice on my skin all day long. It's a good match. But what I don't like about it, and that's probably why I don't reach for it, is that it does leave a residue. It leaves a feeling on my skin. Like if I go to touch my skin feels like my fingers resist my skin. And I don't like that feeling. And I didn't put a lot on. I don't like that feeling. But say I was going to an event and I really wanted to look made up, I would probably use this foundation because it's just for an evening or it's just for, you know, a big event, which I hardly ever go to anyway. So most of the events I go to, I just want to be comfortable, period. So there's that. Today, I'm going to not prep my skin. I washed my face last night, did all the good feels. I just want to go over my face with some toner. This is just a toner that I have just to get some of the residue off of my face. And this is by Simple Soothing Facial Toner. As you can see, I've used a lot of it. I also have a bottle downstairs that I've used a lot of. And what I like about this toner is it doesn't sting and it doesn't make my skin feel tight. It just kind of takes off any residual grime, dirt, you know, whatever's built up over the night while I'm sleeping. And I feel like I can use a lot of it because it's not expensive. And this was gifted to me. So let's see. I don't see any grime. I really did a great job washing my face last night. And I'm going to use the Doll 10 foundation again. And I want to see if I have the same feeling about it. So let's let my face dry a little bit. And I'm wondering if I should try using the puff instead of the brush. Because the brush really layers a lot of foundation on, even though they tell you to pounce. So let's try the puff today and see what happens. How are you guys doing? Let's do some chatting while I put on my foundation. And what do I want to chat with you guys about? Sometimes I feel like I missed my calling. I know I didn't. I know that I did not miss my calling. But sometimes I do feel like I missed it. And one of the reasons is because I love to investigate. I love to investigate all kinds of things, particularly mostly hard to solve puzzles, puzzles that happen, when you hear something on the news or if it's something that happens locally. And I don't quite understand why it doesn't keep rolling back on the news that we watch on television. But yet you can go on YouTube or to independent journalists and you can find a particular subject of something that's happened and they will keep digging into it. And, the really good journalists debunk things, but they keep going back and giving more information and more information. Whereas the mainstream news, you will watch something and for a couple of days they'll be talking about it. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, nothing else to see here. Let's move on. Well, the rest of the world is in shock. And I don't like that. Sometimes they will follow up if it's a big story. But other than that, and then that begs the question, why do they do that? Yes, things happen every day around the world, nonstop. But there are just some subjects that I feel get dropped. And they shouldn't get dropped because they're disturbing and they need to be followed through on. So this begs the question, as I mentioned, who calls those shots? Who decides we can't talk about this anymore? Or the public can't talk about this anymore? And that's what I'm going to talk to you guys about while I'm putting on my makeup. The other thing that I want to use today is these two cream shades from the Revolution, the Cherry Icon palette. One of them is really cherry looking. It's a really cherry color, so I think it'll go nice with my shirt, still keeping with the October pink. So let's open up the Doll 10. Yeah, the subject that I wanted to talk to you about, because I probably have watched at least 4 or 5 videos a day on what happened to Charlie Kirk. So how many days has it been? It's been 6 weeks, right? Approximately 6 weeks. Times 7, that's 36 days, 4 or 5 videos a day. So 5 videos a day times 30 is 150 videos. And I know I've watched more than that. And I discard all of the videos that I think are just junk. They're clickbait. They're people that want to get clicks off of other people's videos. I don't do that. Although there are some that I would have loved to have, taken clips from. But I'm not going to do that because I would be making money off of somebody else's work. The recent news that happened in the past week on the Charlie Kirk assassination. Oh my gosh. Okay, I kind of like this. But I don't have anything on my skin. I don't have any sunscreen. I don't have any moisturizer. I was watching, I'm going to get off topic here for a minute, and I'll get back to it. I was watching a channel, and I don't watch this person all the time. I stopped watching her because she got a lot of PR, and it was like she was just showing, you know, all this PR, these PR products. And I'm like, okay, do you use these things? Do you even use these things? Because if you don't use these things, I don't really want to know about them. But I happened to see one of her videos, and this young woman struggled for years with, what's it called? Melasma. And what she did to correct her skin, and what she keeps doing to correct her skin. And it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing that she has the most beautiful skin that I have ever seen for a woman her age. It's absolutely gorgeous. But when I watch her routine, I'm like, I couldn't do that. I could not leave all of that stuff on my skin and then put my foundation on, slip sliding away. That's what it reminds me of. Slip sliding away. I mean, I would be feeling like slime, you know? And I mean, it's too shiny for me. And a lot of women really like that. They like that. I like a little glow. I like a little gleam, right? But I don't like this shine where my skin looks like glass, because to me, that's just a lot of product on my skin. So letting you know, this works really, really well. I'm almost inclined to like this better than the brush, because it feels more like my Max Factor, which I love. And, you know, you can push in the corner of your nose. I'm just running some errands today, and I thought, instead of going out and just looking like I'm practically still in my pajamas, I'm going to look nice and go run my errands, because when I do that, I feel nice. I feel good. All right, I just did my face, and this is a pretty light layer. So getting back to my topic, the judge for the Tyler James Robinson Charlie Kirk case put a gag order out. And evidently, I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but there's like 3,000 names allegedly on this list. And the gag order is so that there will be no interference with the case. And that means family members are on there, and they're not supposed to talk about it. And they don't want to corrupt the jury pool, basically. But I don't think I've ever heard of a gag order on any case. I mean, look at O.J. Simpson case. Was there a gag order on that? I mean, I remember when that was reported on the news. I don't even remember there being a gag order. And it almost feels like someone or some organization or or the law or whomever does not want anybody talking about this case. They don't want anybody speculating. They don't want anybody looking into anything. And yes, you know, it is true. There's so much circulating on the internet. And I can understand that. But is this even legal? I mean, what about free speech? What about independent journalists on YouTube? Don't they have a right to talk about anything that they want to talk about respectfully? I mean, a couple of the channels that I watch they're excellent. They are excellent. They don't go on forever. They don't show you shoddy information. They ask really intriguing questions that help us to critically think about a topic. And I personally like that. Because we're not sheep. Right? We're not sheeple. We're people. And we have the ability to be able to critically think. That's if we've been taught how to do that. We don't have to follow what everybody says. We can make up our own minds. We can decide. And I think that that's healthy to do. And if we're wrong, we're wrong. Okay, I'm going to shut this up, and this little pocket right here is to put the sponge applicator in, which I really liked, by the way. So we're all done with that. Yeah, so, and then there's the other thing that bothers me. And it's the fact that news jumps from one topic to the next so quickly. Well, I mean, they have to. Mainstream news, they almost have to, because stuff is cropping up every day. But they can do a couple of minute spotlight on previous news, just to keep the public aware of what's going on. I have found all of my information, every single bit of it, which I'm not going to talk about here. I'm not going to talk about what I think, what I believe, what I suspect. I'm just not going to do it. And I know that that's what people are itching for, but I have my speculations. It reminds me of a couple years ago. I think it was the tail end of 2023. I'm going to put this on here. I'm not going to bother to give you the shades. But, so this shade right here is a cream shade. And let me show you what it looks like on my finger. Because it's almost like a peachy pink. And that's what I'm going to put on my eyelid. And because it's creamy, you don't need to use a brush. You can just pat it on your eyelid. It does crease. So if you have a little bit of nude powder to put over it and that doesn't bother your eyes, I would do it. It needs to dry down, and if it doesn't dry down enough, it will crease. So yeah, it reminds me of a true crime situation that happened about 20 minutes from where I live. In a neighboring town, Gardner, Massachusetts, where a husband, his wife, abandoned the children, didn't hurt the children, thank God, abandoned the children and his car, not far up the road from where we live, just over the border in the other direction in Massachusetts, in a heavily wooded area that is like protected land. You can hike in there and hunters can hunt in there. He abandoned his car, and so far the case has never been, he's never been found. Now here's these 4 young children without a mother. Father has abandoned them. The relatives have taken these kids. They were in the house when this happened. Not that they saw it, but they heard it. I don't know if they went into the room after the fact. According to the authorities, clearly this was planned. And this guy was previous military. And it was kind of like the case went cold. They brought dogs in. The case went cold. One of her good friends, I believe, put up a Facebook group so people could go and check to see if there was any new information. Okay, now I'm going to use this shade right here. And this shade is, I mean, it's dark. Look at it. It's like a cherry. So I'm just going to put it right here. It's really dark. I'm going to get another spot and I'm going to put it right here. And I'm going to use this brush to blend it in. So I checked back. I mean, you know, you should have seen me. I was going to all of the newspapers, the area newspapers in New Hampshire, Massachusetts. I was looking up TV stations on my computer to see if there was any new leads. I mean, it was just a horrible, horrible situation. And my heart just went out for this family. And I said to myself, if his car was abandoned in the woods, and he was prior military, and he had a backpack, and he had all kinds of, you know, this happened in the fall. It happened in this month. And, you know, staying out in the woods, eventually, if you don't have enough gear to make it through the winter, you know, he would probably die. And, you know, and even the authorities were saying that they would probably never find him, that, you know, he probably committed, you know what, out in the woods, because he was, you know, he was struggling with some things anyway. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, I feel like they just abandoned that so soon, so quickly. How could they do that? I mean, imagine the family. And that's kind of how I feel about the Charlie Kirk case. I kind of feel, you know, and it's going to trial at the end, the pre-trial, I believe, is at the end of the month. I kind of feel like people have said, okay, you know, they decided who did it. They decided, you know, everything, time to move on. And I don't know why, but my gut just keeps telling me no. My gut keeps telling me no. Just like my gut with that story that I just mentioned was telling me no. And I would talk to people about it, and it was almost like I couldn't let it go, because something felt really, really off with that. situation. Like, did he have somebody, you know, that he knew? Were they the getaway car? You know, when he abandoned his car, did they meet him there? Did they pick him up? Has he completely changed his looks, dyed his hair? You know, does he wear colored contacts? All of that. That's how I think. Right? And so you can even go and you can look that up. I don't know. I don't know if Nancy Grace took that case on, but yeah, it was, you know, it bothered me for months. I mean, I think that within this last year, I even went back into the Facebook group to read, because people will go in and they'll say, you know, have there been any leads? And, you know, I haven't gone in recently, but it's just one of those things. It bothers me that I feel like, you know, there are answers. I mean, look at what happened to, I can't remember her name. She was traveling, she was an influencer. She was traveling across country with her boyfriend. And people just didn't have good feelings about this guy. And it was someone that happened to had to pull off the road, that drove into an area where the van they were traveling in was spotted. And that blew the case open, and they were able to figure out what happened from there. I'm a never say never person. So I'm going to put the rest of my makeup on. I think that's basically all that I wanted to talk to you guys about. One thing that I didn't tell you the other day. What keeps this on? Oh, that feels... Okay, this feels so much better than my first application with you guys the other day. It's really a lovely foundation. It really is. I'm going to put on finished my other bottle and broke open a new bottle. I'm going to put on my Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray even before I put my blush on. This stuff, the day I went with my husband and I tried the Doll 10 Peptide Foundation, I did use that spray. And I forgot to tell you guys that. I'm just going to dry it. La-dee, la-da-da, la-da, la-da-da. Whew. Okay, I'm going to put the rest of my eye makeup on, which is the Doll 10 eyeliner. Curl my eyelashes. Use the Doll 10 mascara, which I'm iffy about it. I haven't made up my mind yet. And I am going to use the City Lips. I think this is watermelon. Yeah, the City Lips watermelon lip gloss to match my shirt, and I'll be right back. Okay, I made a decision when I was putting the rest of my makeup on that I want to use this cherry eyeshadow cream on my cheeks. So I'm taking this little stipple brush here. Got some on, not a lot. And I'm just going to kind of go back and forth on my cheeks with it. Okay, that's really bright. So I'm going to take my buffing brush here. And I'm going to buff that into my skin. That is really pretty. That is really pretty. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit more here. See, you don't even need, if you get a palette like this, you don't even need to go out and buy yourself a blush. Right? I'll put a little on my nose. A little on my chin. I mean, this brush is too fluffy. It's not stiff enough to blend it in, which is why I'm using my flat foundation blending brush. Could even use the Doll 10, but this one I like because it's flat. Isn't that pretty? Wow, that's pretty. The other thing that I want to do is I'm going to use the Wet n Wild loose pink setting powder. And I'm going to set in the crease with this brush right here. I can't remember where I got it, but I got it with something that I ordered. And I'm just going to gently press in the crease of my eye with very little powder. It is setting, but I did notice some creasing there. And I'm also going to do a little tiny bit of setting under my eye. I didn't really need this when I just used the foundation under my eye. I'll go around my nose with whatever's left. By the way, this is the best eyebrow. I call it an eyebrow mascara because basically that's what it is. This is called the Express Brow by Maybelline. Fast Sculpt Mascara. So, I'm telling you, I love this. I love this brow mascara. I love it. And you are going to pay a fraction of what you would pay for other ones. And the last thing that I think I wanted to talk to you guys about is my eyelashes. The eyelashes on this eye are gorgeous. They're beautiful. They've always been that way. The eyelashes on this eye, I don't know why God made me like this, but for some reason these eyelashes don't want to do what these eyelashes do. So I just live with it. And speaking of my eyes, just want to say I have cataracts. I went last week to the eye doctor because it's been a couple years. I mean, I go every year, but my lenses get changed every couple of years. And I was told that these glasses, right along here and along the top, are showing signs of breaking down. The plastic is breaking down. So I said, well, can't you just put the new lenses in these glasses and then just, if they break, just take the lenses out and put them in a different pair of glass frames? And she said, no, we can't do that because of the way that these are put into the frame. They're like welded in there. So I have new glass frames coming, and I think you guys are going to like them because they're different. They're not like these. Okay, they're different. Let's put on the City Lips Watermelon and call it a day. I'd like to put something under my chin, but I'm running out of time. I did this really sloppy. I did this sloppy on purpose. Because when I'm in the car If I don't break out my little mirror, because my husband doesn't have one in his truck on the visor, keeps saying that I'm going to get one, I just put my lipstick on, even if it's messy, and then I touch it up after. Oh my gosh. This is such a beautiful color. I love pink. I love pink. I like all kinds of pink tones. I like pink with blue, pink with gray, pink with brown. Not pink and green. Pink and purple, which is what I have on. So, yeah, I love pink. But you know why I'm wearing pink, because it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Okay, my friends, be well, be blessed, be beautiful, because you are, because there is nobody else on the planet like you. And I will see you in the next video, because I do have some products coming. They just reached out to me today and told me that they're out of stock in some things, and they're waiting to, they have some of the items they want to send me, this company, for PR, but some of the other items are out of stock. So they want to build that stock up so they can ship everything to me. And I think it will be kind of fun, because I think it'll be coming, I'll get it probably before the holidays. So that's some new PR that's coming in the mail. Other than that, if you have any information that you would like to, what we talked about today, put it in the description. Don't forget, I want to do a giveaway. Everybody that wants to be in the giveaway has to be subscribed. I really should open up an Amazon store, because I get a lot of stuff on Amazon for my channel, but I need somebody to help me with that, because I'm now getting lazy. Yeah, so I'll see you guys in the next video. And I'm planning on doing a card reading. I know I've said that, but I just had this urge. I've had this urge to do a card reading, and I've had this urge to do some channeling. And my guide's name is Elijah. And I cannot tell you information that I have found that just came to me about the name Elijah that I would like to share, because I had no idea. When my guide told me that his name was Elijah, I had no idea. So, mwah! Kisses to everybody. Talk soon. Take care of yourselves out there. Bye-bye.